ineffective. You see, a number of people think differently when you talk about state of emergency. Some Nigerians even feel that if you declare state of emergency, the political institutions must collapse. That is their own idea of state of emergency. The governor will leave, the state assembly will be dissolved, local government chairmen and councillors will leave. That is their own thinking of state of emergency. And as long as those people are there, they feel that the state of emergency is not complete or impartial or ineffective. Or some people think that if it is a state of emergency, you are going to fight, handle internal security issues as if you are fighting an international war. Even in an international war, conventional soldiers operate under strict guidelines. You are aware of soldiers and government being prosecuted for war crimes. So, that is even when we are fighting international war. And it's worse if it is internal. And that is the advantage the criminals have over a conventional army. Criminals can use RPGs to fire a car. But a soldier cannot. A soldier can only use even ordinary rifles. It has to be during confrontation. You cannot just see a car moving, even if the incident there. And it's against international laws. Even the weapons you seize, for example, you cannot even use. So they must fight under some international guidelines. So the state of emergency, what is the key reason why government declares state of emergency in these places? Is to make sure that the security personnel have some leverage and that you minimize litigations. If you don't declare state of emergency in Borno State, for example, and if Mr. A or Chief A or Alaji A has weapons in his house, as a security person, you can't enter that house until you get search warrant. You cannot force yourself in. They will sue you. It's against our laws to protect people. But with the state of emergency, it helps us so that if they suspect that you are hiding a criminal or you are hiding weapons there, they can enter your house without you suing government. So if somebody says that the state of emergency is not necessary, it's not true. It's not that if you declare state of emergency, you wipe out everybody. The terrorists are living with a normal, that the guerrilla warfare, they mix with the normal population. And that is why I remember there was even advice, I will not mention where it comes from, that we should not even comb the Sambisa forest and try to hide them out of Sambisa forest. And when we do that, they will disperse and even enter into normal population, and they will be creating more explosions across the country. That is the thinking even of some people. So you know how difficult it is to handle. It's not conventional war where you have a troop that you are going to conquer and take over that territory and it ends. So with state of emergency, don't expect the Nigerian Air Force to go and blast everywhere and wipe out everybody. So if somebody says that the state of emergency is not successful, they are not being realistic, but they are saying that out of frustration because they feel that maybe it has taken too long for this crisis to end. But I always tell them that, look, I'm not trying to defend governments. No. But take a country like Pakistan. In terms of military capabilities, Nigeria and Pakistan are almost at the same level. They are even superior to us in a number of ways. Terrorism started in Pakistan almost 10 years before it started in Nigeria. In 2000, I think early 2012 or so, I was in Pakistan for a D8 meeting. 8 presidents were there. Even while we were there were bombs going on by terrorists. So, you see, terrorism is not a phenomenon that you think a state of emergency of 6 months or 1 year, you wipe it out. It's not. It has not happened anywhere in the world. Except occasional terror. There are some cases where terrorists, for one reason or the other, target a particular and hit and disappear. They will no longer hit. But a country where terrorists believe that they must bring government to their knees, or probably if it is religious sentiments and they believe that until they introduce their religion, or if it is in terms of political, where people feel that they have been, maybe they don't want to be a part of a country again, they want to be a separate nation or so on, and until they get that, those kind of, it's ideological. Until you get that problem properly dealt with. It's just 6 months, 1 year, state of emergency does not wipe out terror. You as journalists should tell us more about what Nigeria is a part of the global community.
In essence, will you extend the state of emergency then?
Yes, we are consulting. We are consulting with the security and the relevant officers, and when we need to extend, we'll extend it, because I believe that we are succeeding, and it's very helpful for the operations to go on. Without that, the security operatives in those places will be so frustrated, you prefer to pull them out than to allow them to stay there and be frustrated.
Mr. President, sir, we have so many undocumented foreign nationals in Nigeria, and there are suspicions that those who are bombing are non-Nigerians. What are you doing to regulate the undocumented foreign nationals in Nigeria?
Yes, of course, you know the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Interior Ministry, they've been working very hard. You had cases not too long ago, a number of them have been repatriated. At the same time, Nigeria is one of the worst offenders globally in terms of Nigerians going to other countries, entering other countries without proper travel particulars. So we are among the worst offenders. And in the ECOWAS area, we have this free movement of goods and services also. And Nigeria in terms of economy is about 55 to 60% of the economy of ECOWAS. In terms of population, we're about 55-60% of ECOWAS. So if Nigerian government tighten issues very hard, it will almost affect the whole concept of ECOWAS and so on. So you now have to tread carefully, especially knowing fully well that your citizens are also involved in that kind of a thing. So we know, yes, there are illegal immigrants. So we are doing it carefully. We don't want to celebrate it because it will be disadvantageous to us if we celebrate it. We must encourage free movement of people around, from Cameroon down to Senegal. Though Cameroon is not a part of West Africa, but Nigeria, Cameroon is a border from the Central African side. So, but we must encourage that. So we are doing it carefully. We are not going very offensive. You arrest the people, celebrate it, and so on. So we are being careful. Any country I go, I also meet a number of Nigerians in those kind of situations that we are very daring people. So you have to manage them properly. But we are doing our best. Maybe I'll ask the Minister of Interior to interface with people and explain in details what government has been doing in terms of that.
Mr. President, we're talking about free movement and the issue of insurgency. The World Economic Forum is going to be holding later this week. And there's been this information in town about a seeming total lockdown of Abuja because of the forum. And people are wondering, people have attended that type of summits in some other places too. The government has to put security measures in place to ensure the safety of the visitors coming in. But maybe you can use the to explain to Nigerians so that they can have a better understanding of what is going to be happening between Wednesday and Friday regarding security measures for our visitors.
Thank you for raising this issue, because I believe when the Office of the Secretary to Government issued the
lockdown,
I think under that kind of press release, details probably have not been given out. Abuja has not been locked down or closed down. Well, actually, it affects only Abuja. But we know that with the number of heads of government that have indicated interest, in fact, by now the President of Kenya is supposed to have arrived. We are also receiving the head of government of China, that's the Premier of China, within this period. And other heads, especially in the ECOWAS sector, because you know the World Economic Forum that Nigeria is hosting, it's actually hosting on behalf of Africa. It's an African edition. So key actors, either presidents or vice presidents or prime ministers of quite a number of countries are coming. So a movement of presidents all over the world, they have a lot of, even the most developed side to give presidents privileges. So there will be a lot of stoppage temporarily or for long hours in some routes. At the same time, Abuja, there's a lot of construction going on in Abuja, even the airport route and others. So you see that ordinarily there are some parts that will already have serious traffic issues. And because of the managing this movement of these presidents, a lot of blockades. I remember when we had this centenary, that night, even for the President of France to get to the stadium was a problem because of the blockades here and there. So we feel that public offices, that are secretariats, will not open for business except